We are merging with a higher timeline. Where we are right now is dealing with a big influx of energy. One of the things that I want to do in today's video is give you tools to navigate the change. I want to give you tools that prepare you to manage the incoming energies and not fall apart, not go into shock when you experience the unexpected. There is shocking new discovery that we're walking into right now. Have you noticed surprising, unexpected, maybe shocking things coming into your world over the last couple of weeks, last couple of days? Or do you have that feeling like there's pending anticipation, there's that energy, almost as if the world that you're living in has an electrified atmosphere. You're waiting for something unexpected to happen, or you're in the throes of dealing with what feels perhaps like cold water being splashed over your face from all of those unexpected events taking place. And you can just imagine. There we are, light workers traveling through the world, holding stability, holding the light, and a splash of cold water, and there's the shock, and then we deal with the integration of the new energy, and we walk a few steps forward. There's the next splash of cold water, because this is exactly what we can anticipate as we walk ahead on the current timeline. It's not because you're doing something wrong. A lot of the new events, new experiences, shocking discoveries are going to come into your life in weird ways. Obviously, nobody's going to experience the same thing because we're all different. So maybe it's going to be an unexpected phone call. Maybe it's going to be an unexpected realization. Lots of that going down. Maybe, I keep referring to this, you guys, so many videos now. Maybe you're going to see lights in the sky that you didn't expect to be there. Maybe those lights in the sky come from an on-planet source. Maybe they're an off-planet source. There is shocking new discovery that we're walking into right now. And you know, when you look at this, you could look at it and go, well, number one, it means I'm not stagnant. Isn't that the case? If you're stagnant, what happens? Pretty much nothing. If you're stagnant, you're in what feels like a stalemate. You're not growing. Where we are right now is dealing with a big influx of energy, dealing with a big influx of unprecedented events. And you know, one of the things that I want to do in today's video is give you tools to navigate through the change. I want to give you tools that prepare you to manage the incoming energies and not fall apart when the cold water splashes your face, not go into shock when you experience the unexpected. So number one, I said to you, it means you're not stagnant, right? But number two, this is the really important part. The reason why all of this new, almost like, you know, that feeling like you're blindsided, or what's that expression? Something entered from left field, right? A little bit bewildered, dazed, confused, scratching the head, questioning, how could this happen? Have I manifested this? How many of you have asked that question? What did I do wrong to bring this into my reality? Here's the really important part, and that is, you guys, we are merging with a higher timeline. I've continually been bringing you this information that what's going on right now is you're finding yourself at a convergence point. Like passing through the eye of the needle, all timelines are converging into one place right now. Every now and then we undergo a rapid merge with a influx of energy, which means we are stepping into a higher timeline. When we do that, think about this from a logical perspective. Who's equipped to step into the higher timeline? It's a higher version of you. A higher self steps into a higher timeline. So it's not just the timeline that's evolving, it's you. So what you're doing as we're merging now with a higher timeline, and look at what my hands are doing. I'm not saying we're merging with a higher timeline. I'm saying we're merging with a higher timeline. This tells you that things are going to get really intense because we're going into a narrow, think of it like this, a narrow area of the timeline where everything is amplified, everything is intensified. You're going to feel feelings on steroids. You're going to experience things in another dimension, as if there's nuances to love, to pain, to peace, to poverty, to ease, to happiness, etc. There's nuances you never felt before. Everything's going to start to feel as if it's amplified because of the narrowing of the timeline. It's like you're squeezing all of this higher frequency energy into one place. The convergence point is happening, remember, because we're headed towards ascension, which means we're headed towards a 5D world. As we head into a 5D world, all timelines collapse into one. Once that happens, which it already has, the timeline elevates, 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 and continues to elevate until we hit the actual ascension point, which is also known as the micronova, the solar flash. At that point, we walk through into a 5D world, which a lot of you guys call New Earth. I call it Eden. It's not split hairs. Doesn't matter what the name is. We're referring to the same idea of a experience of life in the same body, but a light body. I want you to understand that ascension doesn't happen in your brain or in the consciousness or out there in the ethereal realm. It happens at the very physical level. The body undergoes a metamorphosis. It's a physical change from a dense carbon-based 3D being into a more crystalline light 5D version of you. Now, as this occurs, we understand higher timeline requires a higher self to step on the timeline. But think of it like this. That higher self that you're stepping into has had more experience than you. And because that higher self has got more experience than you, think of it as that higher self has got more of a energetic repertoire. They've gone through more things. They know more. They're wiser. They're more evolved. When that old self steps into the higher self, you're stepping into a higher frequency with more of that energetic repertoire, which means new ways of being, new insights, new experiences are now going to flood your path. And that's why. That's why we're getting these bolts out of the blue. Now, here's a really important component. A lot of you guys are going to say, but these bolts out of the blue, the splash of cold water in the face, whatever it is for you, it's jarring. It's scary stuff that I'm dealing with. It's okay. A lot of the time, the unexpected can be beautiful, and a lot of the time, the unexpected can be downright scary. As that new energy comes in, there's a very important way that I need you to understand how to deal with life from now on. This is where I want to get to explaining to you guys, or rather giving you guys some tools, some really helpful tools to help you navigate the path ahead. When I was a kid, one of my most favorite things to do was a really special thing. It was like daddy-daughter bonding time. We used to go fishing. My dad was the best fisherman. I suppose any little girl whose dad was a fisherman is going to tell you the same, but my dad really was the best fisherman, you guys. And I had the thrill and the privilege of going deep sea fishing with him. And we would get onto a boat, right? Pretty wild oceans, I got to tell you. We are in South Africa and the Western Cape of South Africa. So this is some wild ocean, right? We don't have these nice, even keel, placid little old waves. We have these crazy monster waves. So as we would get onto the boat, we would get prepared. And my dad would always say, okay, Kicks, that was my nickname, still is. My family calls me Kicks. Hey, Kick, you got to get your sea legs. My sea legs were that we would stand on the boat. And what is your instinct when you guys stand on a boat? And the boat is wobbly. The boat's doing this, you guys. The waves are swishing you around. You want to hold on to something, don't you? You want to hold on to something. Or if there's nothing to hold on to, guess what? It's even worse, but almost instinctual to do, is to straighten your legs. The boat's doing this, but you're going to go into rigidity if you now try to straighten your legs as if you're trying to push against the ocean. Don't push against the flow. Don't push against flow with the flow. Don't push against it. So don't try lean onto someone or something to get stability. Don't try to straighten your legs and go, no, these shocks and these unexpected things and these new energies and these new experiences, these new issues that I've got to deal with, I don't want to do it. I can't do it. That's rigidity. That's you rejecting something. That's you pushing against the tide. Instead of learning, here it is, the fine art of flow, which is surrender, which is letting go. And I got to tell you, it's the most joyous thing to get your sea legs. We would stand there, and just before the boat took off, we would have this opportunity to just experience the waves and to let the waves move you. And yes, it's scary, especially when there's a big wave, but then eventually you learn to walk around on the boat like that because you got your sea legs. We all need to get our collective sea legs right now because we are in a very turbulent ocean of energy. It's not because you're bad. It's not because something's gone wrong. It's not because we need to do a better job at calming the ocean, which is the tide of the energetic current that the timeline is in right now. No. It is rather that we have to learn to be better fishermen and better boatsmen, and we have to learn to really flow with life. So drop the rigidity. Drop the idea of codependency, which is the clinging onto another person and then expecting them to stabilize you. Or even another thing, like some people will do that with a career, or they'll do that with something very familiar in their lives, maybe a financial status, maybe a relationship. They're going to cling to the known in some way. This is where you really are navigating the unknown. And if you close your eyes, it does feel kind of wilder because we do this thing with our eyes. This is if you get motion sickness, car sick, sick on the ocean. If you close your eyes and you actually just feel the flow, you go a lot better. You alleviate a lot of the control issue, because that's what the motion sickness is actually indicative of. It's the desire to control something that you cannot. We are in turbulent water because all timelines are converging, which means all of the energetic unresolved baggage that you have and haven't dealt with is rushing into the now to meet you. In the Plasma Light Tribe, you guys should know by now, that's my online community where I work with a very devoted group of people who want to grow deeper, further beyond what I'm offering you here on YouTube. There is so much energetic work that we do. That's the intense energetic work where we experience together, and I walk people through the experiences that I'm sharing with you here to navigate a higher version of self and an even higher timeline than the brain will perceive, than the brain will think possible. So it's a big quantum leap forward. There is this beautiful place that we're working at right now called ancestral healing. That's why. The reason why we're doing ancestral healing right now as our theme is because there is so much rushing, so much of the past gushing into the now, that it's going to make you feel like you're destabilized. It's going to make you feel like you're floundering, like you're going to fall over, like there's too much. It is too much if you try to control it from the brain. It is. And you will fall down and you will get seasick and you won't cope. So learning to energetically flow, learning to energetically receive support is one of the most profound things that you can do. One of the things that we're learning with ancestral healing is that it's a two-way street. As we heal, we ripple our light into the ancestral realm, which is comprised of our earth ancestors as well as our galactic ancestors. We ripple our healing to them, and they ripple their healing to us. And our ancestral lineage is timeless. It could be hundreds of years, but more likely millions of years long. So what we're dealing with here is something of a conclusion, like we're concluding a life, because we are, on behalf of ourselves and our ancestors right now, we are concluding a particular way of being as we prepare to step into 5D, as we prepare to step into the true new earth, Eden, that we're stepping into. This is your ascension lifetime. So don't expect that you're going to stand on the boat and it's going to be stable. You've got to learn to stabilize yourself energetically, not to rely on the external energy to stabilize you anymore. That's false matrix style. That's the world that we grew up in. It's absolutely fine To look back and go, oh, look, that's where I used to get my sense of stability and security, was from the external world. Now I've got to get it from the internal world, and it's a whole new way. It's okay for me to close my eyes, go inside, connect into the depth of where I am and who I am, because who you are, what you're becoming, is so much bigger than the you that you knew. There is so much updating, upgrading, energetic work that we're busy doing right now that the brain truly isn't meant to analyze, shouldn't be trying to keep up at an intellectual pace, at an intellectual level with what we're doing energetically, because this is beyond the brain. This is the work that we came here to do, which is the work of mastery. This is the energetic work of beginning a new relationship with self. Who are you as energy, walking in a field of energy? Thank you so much for letting this into your heart. Please drop me a comment below. I'd love it if you would do me the great service of dropping a like. Please, could you just like the video? Because if you do that, it will honestly help the algorithm to share this with more people. And that's really what I would love. If you find this beneficial to you in any way, then that little like that you share will go a long way. And I thank you so deeply for it. From my heart, all the way to yours. Just let it in. Be with it. When I say to you from my heart, all the way to yours, these are not just words. This is a field of energy that you're invited into. Just say yes. And what you're saying yes to is love, is you being loved. As you were born to, as you were always meant to. You are divinely guided. You are divinely loved. You are learning a new way of walking in this world. Get your sea legs on. And I'll meet you on the ocean of an ever unfolding shift in consciousness. And I'll see you there. Lots of love, everyone. Bye-bye for now.